Welcome back to more fresh-faced European Super Touring action for round 6. Races 11 and 12 around what's now known as the Red Bull Ring, formerly the A1 Ring, and before that the Österreich Ring. And as you can see on the front row, it's a bit of a surprise. Peugeot have finally got some gremlins out of their system. Well, the factory team have. Very good front row start, as have perhaps the Volkswagen entries. Not with a win yet behind them. It's front-wheel drive for the win by the looks of it, because they seem to have the best power down all the straights you see on the circuit. And the fastest rear-wheel drive car is in 7th. Marco Kubica tied on 3 wins with Roy McNish, which is another surprise. Audi are at the back, not qualified well, and also not qualifying well are the Vodafone Peugeot privateer team. More about that later. Adrian Marcaricio as per usual, and once again alongside me, World Super Touring race winner at Brands Hatch last season, Michael Swinnerton. Good afternoon.
Oh, is that how we're going to introduce me from now on? I like it. Keep that
Only
one up.
once. We'll try not to do that too often. Try not to milk it too much. It was a very good win, of course it was. And let's see what your protege, Anthony Ingram, can do in the pea green Scirocco. Speaking of, tell you what, let's watch the race instead, most important. Lights away, and a front row getaway for the two Peugeots. A very good start for the Hyundai further back, as did Kubica. Rear-wheel drive acceleration, obviously doing a good service before the Niki Lauda curve. Up through the Tyrols into Rimas, braking area for the hairpin. Dalmas, Barbosa, Nilsson, Kubica up to 4th already. Very good start as the other Volkswagen starts to fall back there. Sean Morris didn't have the best of starts there. Maro Heidfeld also in the fray, almost breaking into the top half of the points early on. Sun is shining already.
Yeah, Morris there being a bit of a victim of freight training and people catching each other out under braking zones. We saw in the World Super Tours, of course, with the tight hairpin at the top of the hill there, they would catch each other out under braking and end up having to send it over the sausage curb and make the car take off in order to avoid contact. We'll see if that happens with these guys here.
It's been such a bad start. He's in with the dark green Hondas of the privateers, who are doing very good, all things considered. You've got Winkelhock and Shane Radicic finally not having to worry about being last for a while in what's effectively a good midfield position. Dalmas into the final couple of corners then. Kubica already up to 3rd.
Yeah, the man can't be stopped apparently. Even on a track that's supposed to be a favour to the front-wheel drive cars, Kubica is still making his rear-wheel drive BMW very, very dangerous.
Bianchi's Renault in 5th. We've got the Eddie Carroll Lloyd's Racing Ford doing a stellar job still. Top privateer. The overlap, I would assume, with the European Championship is far greater than in the Worlds. I mean, this is self-evident every single time we see a race. No matter where we are, that Ford is doing such a good job. Rumours of Ford actually in talks with them for something. Let's wait and see what happens.
You say something, I think it's just more just data sharing. I think some of the Ford engineers are knocking around the Lloyd's TSB guys going, just exactly what you're doing with the car? Would you mind?
Because they are doing what the Ford should be doing in the Worlds and getting inconsistent points finishes. We just had a glimpse of the two Hyundais doing copycatting each other through the Rimas hairpin over the curbs into the apex of Schloss Gold as well. In tandem, Tassi ahead of Liuzzi for a change. Shane Radicic in 12th. That's a very good look for him. Ingram, I would say it's so-so in comparison to Shane Radicic then. If this is a bit of a slight change in the script by the looks of it, because Radicic hasn't had it all plain sailing, I would say. This is the best performance I've seen so far from the New Zealander.
Yeah, I think he's starting to gel a little bit more with his race engineer and giving better feedback as to what he needs out of the car. which, you know, once you work that out with a race engineer, that you immediately go a long way and can gain a lot of speed and track time and positions and what have you with that, just through having a car that behaves in the way you want it to. Meanwhile,
And
Kubica's
Kubica
already
now
up to second and
second.
threatening for the
We keep
lead.
missing
I
it,
told
don't
you
we?
this man can't be stopped.
I think we better focus on this, and because if form book considered, Kubica's going to be in the lead by the time the Remus hairpin is in sight with our cameras there.
Well,
So here
we
we
know
go.
the BMW is good on its brakes. It just depends on if Kubica wants to be brave with a dive bomb. He has a look, but not quite. Hits the curb. That's going to knock his momentum down for the next corner, but he's still close enough. That Peugeot, whilst good in qualifying trim, does tend to lose a little bit in the race pace. So I think that's something that team is going to have to look at. And I have heard rumours. He has a look again. I have heard rumours that they are working on a version 2 package for that RCZ that we may or may not see next year. So who knows?
Must try harder. Speaking of must try harder, Boss has fallen down to 6th. We've missed that as well because Nilsson's up to 3rd, Bianchi up to 4th, and Kubica's teammate Heidfeld up to 5th.
Well, this is what we've seen from the Peugeots pretty much every round this year. They qualify well and then start going backwards in a hurry. So Peugeot just need to work out how to transfer their qualifying pace into race pace.
Back with the leaders, Dalmas, Kubica.
Yes, I feel like this battle is a case of when, not if. Dalmas might just be a sitting duck here. Dalmas is best hope, realistically speaking here.
Wow, look at that power on that Peugeot.
Yeah, back the Beamer and let this Volkswagen catch up. Because if Nilsson can catch up and make it a three-way battle for the lead, Dalmas has a hope of getting away if Kubica and Nilsson get stuck together in a protracted fight there.
Nilsson with a bit of a questionable line there, wide on the exit, almost over the sleeping policeman on the outside of Niki Lauda curve.
It's clearly working. He's got the fastest lap so far.
We'll see if it's faster next time by. I don't think he's going to get it after running wide there. But it's still Dalmas fending off the pole.
That was a lot of curb.
Barbosa, Karen Morris, top half of the midfield then. You can see him in the background. You still see the two Hyundais in the background just sneaking into picture there.
They are 9th and 10th, so if things stay as the way they are, granted it's only lap 4, but if things stay as the way they are, we'll have an entire Hyundai front row for race 2.
Yes, I'm very happy with that, but still, early days. And this is, for want of a better expression, stagnated, but fans present to see that.
Might just be Kubica biding his time. I still feel like this is a case of when, not if.
And already better handling through the infield. Already up the back bumper of Dalmas. Barbosa, Morris with a different line altogether, still behind him. And it looks like the race-winning Tony Gronholm has gone ahead of Ingram. And there's Ingram's been a bit of a cork in the bottle for the back of the pack. Meanwhile, Dalmas and Kubica cross the line. Ordonez last, but not out of it by any means. The picture is they're still almost front to back, covering the entirety of the front straight. But as you'll see here, Peugeot at the front, Peugeot at the back. That privateer Vodafone outfit making a strong statement earlier that if things don't improve, the plug is going to be pulled on that outfit.
Yes, we have heard rumblings of this is Kubica alongside. He's pulled back into place.
The perspective on that, it was almost as if it was going to happen, but still.
Yes, apparently nobody is happy at that Vodafone team. Not with the race results, not with the car, not with the performance, not with the way it handles. So it's looking sadly likely that they will not be on the grid next year.
I'm wondering if that means the actual facilities that are at both factories are going to be shared for this Mark II effort that you see at the front of the field for next season, perhaps.
Yeah, possibly. Or it might be that they just can the whole thing, because it is a separate you know, that privateer team is a separate outfit to the works team here. So if they go, it's no real skin off of Peugeot's nose.
Which is a shame because the Vodafone team do have some pretty good mechanics, and their face is pretty glam this weekend too. As we see Bianchi in the background, bit of a nose down the inside of Nilsson there, but still not enough to get down the inside for Nicky Lauda curve there.
Yeah, Bianchi needs to get a wriggle on because he's got Highfield all over the back of him.
Absolutely. And we didn't take our eyes away from the lead because we're waiting for that Kubica move to happen on Dalmas almost.
He's close here. Will he have a look up the inside? Look at the BMW on the brakes. It makes up so much time.
Was that a bump?
If it was the very lightest of ones.
And it's still defensive for Nilsson, still in third. Schlossgold, I think, is where the change is going to take place. Or maybe not. I just saw Bianchi a bit too far back there.
I think these cars are, for both Bianchi and Kubica, they're getting good runs into the hairpin. But that is then ruining their run into Schlossgold there. Which I think if they just did that the other way around, they might be a little bit more successful.
Rauch, down the hill into Wirth. Part of the new redevelopment that was done in the mid-90s to make it a lot safer than the older layout. But here's Kubica.
He's very close now. Just fill in the mirrors of Dalmas.
Shortcutting what was the old banked final turn. I say banked, I mean it naturally banked rather than American style banking.
Again, Dalmas just manages to pull away where Kubica got not necessarily.
I think we see someone facing the wrong way round, about to be in last place there. So that is a bit of it's Ingram. Oh dear, I wonder what happened there. He was wide on the exit of Wirth, and then
you're just gonna.
That's going to be interesting. The top of the privateer battle, the Lloyds boys, normally clean cut, but that was not clean cut whatsoever.
I feel like the stewards are going to have a look at that one. That looked like just a case of 2 into 1 didn't go, or maybe Ingram didn't quite realise the Ford was alongside him still.
And we might get some better news on that later. You'll spill the beans later for us for race 2, no doubt. And
that was a bump.
That definitely was a bump.
That was absolutely a bump and run from Kubica there.
Wake up call for Dalmas.
He was getting bored of being blocked in the braking zone here, evidently. That's from a ways back as well, and just no, you're going to go deep into the corner. I'm going to have the apex. Thank you very much.
Surprisingly light as well somehow.
Well, the car was on its brakes, so all the weight was shifted to the front of the car. So if you tap a front-wheel drive car under braking, its rear wheels are almost off the ground at that point, so it does unsettle the car. And immediately Nilsson is on the back of now Dalmas there.
Which a couple of laps sooner might have been Bianchi or Heidfeld. They're having their own personal battle as well. Morris still 6th, being a bit of a cork for the rest of the midfield. Decent gap there. Maybe it's Carroll being the cork in that particular bottle there, as the 2 Hyundai still maintain position. And this out of luck more than strategy. Rest of the midfield in Jarno Capelli behind Winkelhock, McNish. This is a surprise. We were assuming that the likes of Grondom and McNish would be starting to fly through. Speaking of flying through, Nilsson up to 2nd.
I think he's going to make that one stick. Even if he doesn't get it down the straight, he'll get it into turn 1.
Bianchi and Heidfeld looking to capitalise as well. Shaved that off the front of the RCZ, but down the inside. Okay.
No. I think that Peugeot's not particularly brave with its brakes.
It's like a bit off like a skull. We're past halfway. Kubica's now gone. You can see that already, visibly. Nilsson up to 3rd. Dalmas momentum perhaps has been lost, and just highlights that good in qualifying, not so good in the race, but it's still doing its utmost not to lose any more positions with 5 to go. 6 to go, 5.5 to go.
Some to go.
Up.
And meanwhile, you've got Bianchi and Heidfeld just tripping over each other, trying to have a little debate over who is going to have a go at Dalmas next. And here goes Bianchi down the inside. So Dalmas, I'm afraid it looks like he's going to copy his teammate and just get freight trained backwards. That
Barbosa
is 3
has
positions
fallen down the
basically
points.
1 lap.
He's fallen out. He's outside the points, is Barbosa. It's not that Peugeot are going to be scratching their heads. They kind of know what needs to be done, but they might be focusing that on their second-year car. Heidfeld now looking to capitalise on that too.
Given how we are most definitely in the second half of the season, if I was Peugeot, yeah, I'd be working on the upgrades for next year's car and just maintaining and surviving this last bit of the first season here.
I spot a Hyundai in the top 8 now. Tassi is there.
In fact, you see 2 Hyundais in the top 8 because Liuzzi's there in 7th, look. So they've both gotten around Carroll and are now having a crack at Sean Morris here.
Obviously there for the points, not the glory of the front row start then. They're doing their utmost to be better.
Having a look. Oh,
there we go. That was smooth like butter.
That was aggressive.
Fantastic move by Liuzzi. Tassi, surely, the power of the Volkswagen looks to... Okay. I thought that was going to be around the outside of the Rimac hairpin.
Getting unstable in the braking zone. It's not going to help you.
To charge the Schloss Gold. Morris starting to fall back behind Liuzzi. Might have been a dint in his confidence after that.
Oh, yes.
Dare of a move. Oh, hello. Okay.
That was a big difference in approach speed for that corner there. I think Morris just caught Tassi out there under braking. Wasn't expecting him to slow down quite that much.
Neither were we.
Neither were we. And there's a slide. There's something we haven't seen since the World Super Tourers came around here.
And late in the race, perhaps evident with the lighter fuel load, perhaps.
Well, we do know that's what the Volkswagen does. As it drains its fuel tank, the back end gets very, very light, and it starts getting lift-off oversteer problems.
And that means Eddie Carroll 10th. Tony Gronholm sparing his blushes, charging through to the midfield. 9th place, good run so far. Should have been better in qualifying, no doubt.
He's made it work, though. He's overtaken quite a few cars, given he started, 17th? 18th?
Yes.
That's a good number of passes made.
Brief glimpse of Winkelhock's Europe car. There's Barbosa. What a shame. And what a shame Radicic is now outside of the points. That's going to be a bit more galling for him. He did so well in qualifying. You can see Gouvan, if anything, the point is still probably not good enough for the Vodafone outfit by the way things are going. And still, McNish not making a dent whatsoever. Ingram not last anymore as Ordonez. This is where the online gameplay has still been kind of bandied about that he's not good enough for real world racing after all that stuff on the rigs. It is transferable, it is possible, but this is not the best case for it.
I would argue that Ordonez, whilst his race results have not belied his talent, I think the talent is still there. It's more just a lack of experience going on at the moment.
Fingers crossed he lands on his feet for a seat next season, whichever season that might be.
If not in this championship, then somewhere else at least. I mean,
down the inside of
Heidfeld caught the Renault napping.
And that means...
That's a sausage curb. Still has a run on the Volkswagen.
Game on for a 1-2.
Yeah.
Which is what we saw at the front of the field earlier on, but the wrong brand. Dalmas down to 5th. Liuzzi up to 6th and charging on the pole sitter. 2.5 to go.
Now, do we think that Heidfeld versus Nilsson is also a case of when, not if, or do we think Nilsson can hold off the BMW and split them, ruining their...
Well, we know that we know the Volkswagen had the power. We are into tyre wear territory once more.
Yeah, and it also depends on if Nilsson's V-dub is set up the same way as Morris's V-dub, and will it also have nice big driftaroo moments going through the second sector?
We shall soon see. As it heads towards Rauch on the exit of Schlossgold, back down the hill in front of the giant metal bull statue.
There was a little bit more control, but there was a bit of back-end wiggling going on there.
And a front-end wobble on for Heidfeld as well.
Yeah.
As the marbles start to be visible.
Cool, little crack of oversteer there. Oh, understeer even.
And off the back of the incident earlier, Ingram has made the best of his red mist and has put in the fastest lap.
Clean air, light fuel load, red mist, yeah. Meanwhile, Dalmas is now holding up the next group of cars as this Peugeot refuses to keep up with the rest of the field. There, Liozzi already being impatient, tapping on Dalmas's back bumper. That is going to be one sorry piece of bodywork by the time this race is done, given the amount of cars that have hit it now.
And Tass is going to get set. This is a very good run for both of the Hyundai drivers. They're making their statement for season
Liozzi.
2. Down the inside, goes to 6th place. 5th place does Liozzi. Dalmas down to 6th.
Liozzi learning everything he did from that move on Morris, just repeats the same thing on the Peugeot.
And he didn't even see it. Genius. We see Grandhomme being like a vulture in 9th, looking to capitalise on anyone going off. Down the inside goes Tassi. Very good day for Hyundai. Not a good look for Peugeot, but we've kind of repeated that so many times now.
Morris just getting stuck behind Dalmas there at that corner, otherwise he'd have been able to capitalise something on it as well, and that in turn has opened the door for Grönholm to get past. So we've got one grey German car versus another here.
Lap and a half to go. German car in the picture. German driver potentially on pole with Winkelhock ahead of Carroll now. That's going to be a good day for Europe.
And speaking of German cars,
and there goes second place. BMW 1-2.
It was a case of when, not if.
When, not if. When, not if for 1-2 though. As Bianchi now still present, but you want to be on the podium for the end of it. There goes Morris down the inside of Dalmas. Okay, this is where I would be if I wasn't scratching my head before. I think I'm starting to scratch my head even more so now if Morris gets this position. Okay, so Dalmas is fighting for it.
I mean, Dalmas had all the oversteer and instability going around that corner. He had a wiggle on for the penultimate corner, clocked the sausage curb at the last corner, which ruined his momentum down the straight.
Speaking of momentum, Grandhomme was looking, if Morris was going to get it, Grandhomme was going to get it, but all of a sudden he's decided to bail out of that one.
And in amongst all of this, Winkelhock now looks to be on pole for race 2.
That's exactly what I was talking about earlier. This is the lap where it all ends. Morris down the inside at Rima's curve.
Hit on the sausage. He's still alongside though. Can the Peugeot make something of it down the straight, or is that Volkswagen just going to pull away? The Volkswagen has just pulled away.
Yeah, more power. We saw the Peugeot did have the power. Volkswagen definitely had it, but I wonder. Okay.
Ooh, he's having a look down the inside. I think the Peugeot...
Bit of a threat.
It's to do with the rev range and where the turbo kicks in. I think like the Peugeot, it's good through the second and third gear, but once it gets up to fourth and fifth, it just peters out of power, whereas other cars can keep going.
And with Ordóñez just about to almost, well, he's completed the final sector. Here's Kubica completing the final lap. What a magnificent run from 7th on the grid to outsmart everyone. BMW have outsmarted everyone for race 1 because Heidfeld is also second. Not a bad look for the well-known experts in touring car racing by the looks of it. But Hyundai doing no problem either. Very good run for them, 5th and 6th. Whether it was a strategy for Dalmas to be at the front of the field for race 2, but that's going to be a very happy camp at the Europe Car Civic team for Winkelhock to be on pole for race 2. Jarno Capelli, Guvan, I was hoping there'd be a point there, and there it is. Even though it's been a dark day for the Vodafone Peugeot privateer team, they still managed to get something or other. Whether they get that something in race 2 remains to be seen. That was a good one, Swinny.
Yeah, there were lots of dive bombs. Not as much sideways moments through Sector 2 like we've seen in the World Super Tours. I was kind of expecting repeat performances here, especially from some of the front wheel drive cars here. But yeah, other than that, I will now need to go and talk to Anthony and see what happens regarding his shunt.
If we're expecting the same thing, obviously this is a slightly different formula, slightly different cars. It kind of happened in the same way, just not necessarily in the right order. So we'll see more of that for race 2 for the next batch of footage. We'll see you then. Good racing, everyone.